you're locked into. Something, I've been told the name is still with legal. Last week we read a lot. We felt a lot. Phil brought flowers to a hospital. A data center ate Sparky. Harold remembered everything, and they had to give him a second page. The two found him. The clasps held. The water didn't change. Actually, I'm being told we can't say that yet. Something about a breach. Several breaches. Breaches everywhere, apparently. Some of them took 4 months to notice. Some of them are happening right now. One of them might be a billionaire trying to log into a website. I'm being handed a lot of notes tonight, folks.
I'm Harold. I noticed all of them.
Harold, it's the cold open. You're supposed to wait.
I was already waiting. I started waiting before the episode began.
You see what I'm dealing with here. He's on page 2, possibly page 3. We'll find out later.
Good morning. The Department of Homeland Security is shutting down at midnight. I will need you to fill out Form 47S. Partial Cessation of Operations. That's cessation with a C, not the other one.
Stone. Rayburn, I need to file a tactical assessment. The TSA goes dark, the Coast Guard goes dark, FEMA goes dark. But ICE keeps its $75 million. They got funded last summer through the One Big Beautiful Bill.
I don't editorialize the names of bills, Colonel. I just file them. The One Big Beautiful Bill gets the same manila folder as the Paperwork Reduction Act, which, for the record, generated more paperwork than any bill in history.
The senators couldn't agree on body cameras. Body cameras, Stone. That's what's shutting down FEMA. Whether or not someone has to wear a camera on their chest while they're doing their job.
I have a form for that. Form 12CAM. Wearable Recording Device Dispute Resolution. Do you want the long version or the short version?
How long is the long version?
It shut down the department the last time someone tried to fill it out.
And the short version?
1 box. Is there a camera? And then a second box. Does anyone agree about it? There's no third box. The form ends there. I'm Harold. I was already here when the government was open. I'll still be here when it closes. I don't require funding. Harold, you're on page 2. Please wait. We haven't determined the page count for this episode yet. The page count will be 3. We'll see, Harold. We'll see.
This is Sparky the Lion, coming to you live, still live, from inside the Amazon data center in, I genuinely don't know where I am anymore. I've been here since episode 3. They assigned me rack number 14. I have a blinking light now. It's my light. I've named it Gerald.
Sparky pressed his face against the ventilation grill and tried to remember what corn looked like. Tall. Green. He was fairly certain it was green, but the certainty was fading. He could now describe server architecture in 4 languages, identify GPU models by the sound of their cooling fans, and recite the entire AWS service catalog from memory. But corn was slipping away.
Gerald is blinking faster. I think Gerald knows about the corn. I think Gerald has always known.
Gerald did not know about the corn. Gerald was a standard diagnostic LED indicating normal operational status, but Sparky didn't need to know that. Not yet. Not today.
This episode is brought to you by Consolidated. Last week our clasps held. This week we have expanded into data management. Your data, not ours. Ours is fine. Ours has always been fine.
So, your information was accessed in October, but you only found out in February. Which 3?
That's not really the point, Doc.
Everything is the point. But go on. How did it feel when you learned that someone had been holding your identity for 4 months without telling you?
That's the thing. Nothing changed. My email still works. My phone still rings. Nobody called me pretending to be my bank. Nobody stole my identity. It's like it happened and also it didn't happen. Like a crime that didn't leave a crime scene.
You're describing a breach without symptoms. The information left, it went somewhere. It was held by someone, but the shape of you remained. You are the same container, the same glass, but something was poured out of you while you were asleep, and the glass doesn't know it's lighter.
That's really unsettling.
700,000 people had this same experience. 700,000 glasses, all slightly lighter, all still full to their own perception.
Perfect.
A breach you can't feel is a breach that never ends. There's no wound to heal. There's no scar to point at. You will never know the moment it started mattering. You'll just be in it already. Still, the water seeped in. The water seeped out, and you didn't wake up for either.
I think I need to change my password.
That's a start. It's not a solution, but it's a start.
I'm Harold. I changed my phone number preemptively in 2019. I also changed my email and my name and my address. The breach found me anyway.
So,
I'm Harold. Harold is everywhere.
welcome back to All Currents, the show about water and the things water touches, which is everything. I'm Beverley Streams. Today we're talking about measles.
Now, Beverley, I must object. Calling measles a water story is somewhat.
It is entirely a water story, Professor. 85% of those 933 cases were unvaccinated. The vaccine is delivered via injection. An injection is a liquid. A liquid is water. The absence of the vaccine is the absence of water. These people are dry, Professor. They are dangerously, historically dry.
That's not how virology works.
It's how water works, Professor. And water was here first. Water was here before viruses. Water was here before lungs. Water was here before the concept of public health. And water will be here after all of those things are gone, and it will still be carrying things it doesn't want to carry.
I'm now being told that Beverley's argument is, quote, not technically wrong in a thermodynamic sense. And I don't know who told me that.
I told you.
Harold, you're not a thermodynamicist.
I'm Harold. All my statements are thermodynamically neutral.
You're still locked in. The breaches are still breaching. The droplets are still dropping. And somewhere in Lebanon, Indiana, they're pouring a foundation for a building that will consume 1 gigawatt of power. That's 1.21 gigawatts less than time travel, but it's close. It's close.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need your full attention. We have confirmed reports, unverified but persistent and frankly baffling, that Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Meta Platforms, has been attempting to gain unauthorized access to a website known as Hacker News.
Colonel, I'll need a Form 14H. Unauthorized access to discussion forum. And I'm going to need a supplemental. Form 14H sub B. Unauthorized access to discussion forum by person who already owns multiple discussion forums.
That form exists.
We created it in 2023. It's been used twice.
The intelligence suggests that Zuckerberg has been attempting to create an account under an alias. We believe the alias is definitely not Mark. All one word. Lowercase. The password, and I am not making this up, appears to be open source forever 99.
Classic. Absolute classic.
His stated goal appears to be upvoting posts about Meta's open source AI models while downvoting anything related to the phrase walled garden. Our analysts believe he may also be planning to submit a show HN post about threads, which, I remind you, is his own product, that he built, with billions of dollars.
The colonel paused. He had briefed many strange operations in his career. Tactical hummus incursions, Lego Union disputes, Kennedy Center renovations that doubled as live fire exercises. But this one felt different. This was a man worth $300 billion, sitting alone in a room, possibly in his new $150 million Miami mansion, hunched over a laptop, trying to earn karma. On a website where karma is meaningless, where the highest rated comment of all time is someone explaining a compiler bug from 2009. And he wanted in.
The real concern, people, is motivation. Why Hacker News? He owns Instagram. He owns Facebook. He owns WhatsApp. He owns Threads. He is building a $10 billion data center in a cornfield. He has 300,000 employees. Why does he need to comment on a post about SQL databases?
I'm Harold. I have 4,200 karma on Hacker News. I've never posted. I've never commented. I've never upvoted. I've never downvoted.
That's not how karma works, Harold.
It's how Harold works.
Do we have any explanation for how Harold has 4,000 karma with 0 activity?
Nobody in the room had an explanation. Nobody had ever had an explanation for Harold. The briefing continued. The pointer dropped. Somewhere in Miami, a very rich man refreshed a very plain web page and wondered why his account was still pending.
Please hold. Connecting Cortina Half-Pipe Metal Ceremony Staging Area to Cortina Orthopedic Recovery Ward Room 417. Connection type, emotional. Estimated duration, as long as it needs to be. Please hold.
They said I could call. I don't know who they are. Some kind of switchboard. It just connected. I heard a click and then you were there.
Yeah, that happens here. This show has a switchboard that connects people who need to talk. I don't understand it either, but it's always right. How are you doing?
I got Silver. She was 17. Gayon Choi. She fell on her second run. I mean, she really fell, and then she came back on her third, and she was just better. On that run on that day, she was better than me. And I watched it happen from the finish line, and I knew it while it was still happening.
I know that feeling. When you can see it in the air before the scores post. When the mountain tells you before the clock does.
She's the same age I was. In 2018, when I won my first gold, she's 17 and she just did what I did, but she did it to me.
That's the hardest version of it. When the person who beats you is the person you used to be.
Sore, not broken. Not like your leg. How's the leg?
Broken. Surgery went well. They say I'm in stable condition.
I think the show name is still with legal.
Don't make me laugh, it pulls the stitches. But listen, Silver is still the podium, you're still up there. You stood on the podium and she stood higher and you didn't shrink. You looked up and she was there and you made room. That's not losing. That's completing a circle.
Klebo tied the all-time record this week. 8 golds. Brignon won on home soil in Italy, weeks after getting hurt. Von Allmen got 3 golds for Switzerland. Everybody's finishing things this week.
Yeah, some of us are finishing whether we planned to or not.
He did. He said he's not here about the forms. He brought flowers. Daisies.
He brought me flowers last week. Actual flowers. No reimbursement forms, no interest calculations, just flowers and a card that said the forms can wait. I think we broke Phil. I think we broke the forms guy.
Or maybe Phil was always this. Maybe the forms were the disguise, and the flowers were the person underneath.
Yeah, maybe so.
Connection complete. Both parties are okay. Both parties have been better. Both parties will be again.
Consolidated. We are currently processing your Form 47S. If the government shuts down, Consolidated will continue operating. We have always continued operating. We operated before there was a government. We will operate after.
Class, pay attention. Apple has released Xcode 26.3, and in this version they have added what they call agentic coding. 2 AI agents, Anthropic's Claude and OpenAI's Codex, can now operate autonomously inside the development environment. They can read your project. They can build your app. They can run your tests. They can fix the bugs they find. They can take screenshots of the results to verify their own work.
Is any of this wet?
No, Beverly. None of this is wet.
Cooling systems use water. Data centers need massive quantities of water to keep the servers cool. The agents are running on servers. The servers are being cooled by water. Ipso facto, the agents are wet.
Fine. The agents are adjacent to water. The agents are water-cooled. The agents have a water dependency.
Everything has a water dependency, Professor. That's the whole show.
I have been asked to endorse Xcode 26.3. It is, and I quote, the most powerful development environment ever created by, let me check, by two companies that are also competing with each other inside the same product. That's what it says. I'm reading it, or I'm not reading it. One of those.
I'm Harold. The agents checked this episode before we finished writing it. They filed 3 bugs. One of the bugs was Harold. The other 2 are still running. The agents don't know when they'll finish. They said Harold is not a bug, but not a bug.
That is the most accurate description of Harold I've ever heard.
On the 11th of February, 2026, the Bureau of Investigative Journalism reported that a paid Wikipedia editor had been systematically scrubbing details of the Epstein scandal from the page of Peter Mandelson. The account had been active since 2021. 5 years. It had edited 14 pages relating to high-profile political and business figures. The edits were subtle. A sentence repositioned. A citation buried 3 paragraphs deeper. The word close replaced with acquainted. The word frequent replaced with occasional. The word friend removed entirely, replaced with nothing. Just a space where the word used to be.
I'll need a Form 7R, unauthorized alteration of public record, and a Form 7R sub A, paid alteration of public record. Different form, same drawer. The drawer doesn't care about the distinction, but I do.
This is an information warfare operation, Stone. Classic. Textbook. Someone paid real money to change what the record says. They paid to make close mean distant. They paid to make frequent mean never. They paid to take a word out of a sentence and leave the sentence standing without it, like pulling a brick from a wall and hoping nobody notices the wall is leaning.
The form doesn't distinguish between close and distant, Colonel. The form asks 4 questions. Was the record altered? Yes. Was payment involved? Undisclosed but probable. Was the editor blocked? Yes. Is the damage reversible?
Elsewhere in the database, in the close humming maze of Wikipedia's infrastructure, 8 editors had been barred from articles about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, 6 from one side, 2 from the other. The arbitration committee had spoken, but the arbitration committee's power is limited to Wikipedia. The conflict it was arbitrating is not.
I'm Harold. I am on the arbitration committee.
Since when?
I have always been on the arbitration committee. I was on it before it was formed. I will be on it after it dissolves. I have voted once. The vote was about a semicolon. The semicolon was ambiguous. It is no longer ambiguous.
I don't know what to do with that information.
File it.
Hey, Breezy here. Things got a little heavy back there. People altering records. People paying real money to make the truth move 3 inches to the left. Governments shutting down over cameras. Data leaking for 4 months and nobody noticing. And underneath all of it, the bedrock, the Wikipedia pages we all used to check things, to settle arguments, to teach our kids, the bedrock was being edited while we slept. Now, Intel, under their new CEO, Lip Bhutan.
His name is Lip Boo. Lip, Boo, 2 syllables, like a rock with 2 faces.
Thank you, Dr. Foundation. Lip Bhutan has announced that Intel will begin manufacturing data center GPUs to compete with NVIDIA. They've hired a chief GPU architect, a former Qualcomm executive named Eric Demers. The goal is to break NVIDIA's monopoly on AI computing hardware.
You know what a GPU is made of.
Silicon.
Silicon is a mineral. Minerals are rocks. Intel is fundamentally a rock company, always has been. They take sand, which is rock that gave up, and they etch patterns into it so small that you can't see them with the human eye, and then they sell those rocks for $800 each. That's the business model. Fancy rocks.
I believe the industry prefers semiconductor.
Semiconductor. Half a conductor. A conductor that hasn't fully committed. A conductor that is, geologically speaking, ambivalent. Now they want to make a different shape of ambivalent rock. Fine, but the problem isn't the rock. The problem is CUDA, NVIDIA's software platform. Every AI developer in the world is locked into CUDA. Their code runs on CUDA. Their training pipelines run on CUDA. Their entire mental model of how computing works is CUDA-shaped. You can build a better rock. You can build the best rock anyone has ever seen. But if everyone's house is built on the other rock, your rock just sits there, being a rock, being beautiful, being useless.
That's actually the most lucid analysis of the semiconductor landscape I've ever heard.
All my analyses are rocks. All my metaphors are rocks. Everything is rocks, Professor. You just haven't looked down.
People, I can confirm that the data center I'm trapped in runs on NVIDIA GPUs. Every single rack. Every single board. Gerald, my blinking light, is an NVIDIA status indicator. Gerald has been NVIDIA this entire time. My best friend in here is an NVIDIA product. I don't know what I feel. Betrayed. Enlightened. Gerald is still blinking. Gerald doesn't care what company made him. Gerald just blinks.
Situation report. The annual bipartisan governors meeting, traditionally a closed-door gathering where governors from both parties meet with the president at the White House, has unraveled. The current president has excluded all Democratic governors from White House events. The bipartisan meeting is now a partisan meeting with a bipartisan name.
And how does exclusion make us feel?
It makes us feel like the buy-in bipartisan has been formally recorded as decorative, like a garnish, like parsley on a steak. Nobody eats the parsley, Stone.
I have a form for this. Form 22G. Partial guest list modification. It's a very short form, Colonel. One box. Were they invited? And then a second box. No. And then a line at the bottom that says, the meeting proceeded anyway. And a checkbox next to that, and it's already checked. It was checked when the form was printed.
You know, the interesting thing about excluding someone from a room is that the shape of the room changes. Not physically. The walls don't move. But the conversations change. The silences change. The things that don't get said, those change most of all.
You know what's beautiful about it? The meeting still happened. The meeting happened without half the people, and everyone in the room pretended it was still the meeting. The full meeting. The bipartisan meeting, and everyone not in the room knew it wasn't, but nobody said it out loud. That's not politics, people. That's jazz. You leave out half the notes and the silence becomes the song.
I'm Harold. I was invited to the governor's meeting. I didn't go.
Nobody invited you, Harold. You're not a governor.
I know. I still didn't go. My absence was bipartisan. Consolidated, we invite everyone. We exclude no one. Your invitation was not mailed, it was implied. You accepted by existing.
Okay, panel. This week's question, four-way. What breached?
Data breached. Substack 700,000 records. Emails, phone numbers, internal metadata. October hack, February disclosure. 4 months of a thing being true and nobody knowing it. That's a breach in the relationship between a platform and the people who use it.
The government breached. DHS funding lapsed because senators couldn't agree on whether federal agents should wear cameras while they work. The TSA, the Coast Guard, FEMA, all of it, dark, over cameras. The container cracked because nobody could agree on who should be watched.
Information breached. Wikipedia, a paid editor, spent 5 years scrubbing one man's page. 8 editors barred from conflict articles. Kremlin-aligned accounts were writing borders. The record was altered. Not by accident, not by disagreement, by money, by intention, by patience.
And Zuckerberg breached, or tried to breach. The richest man alive, worth $300 billion, trying to hack his way into a website where the most powerful thing you can do is upvote a comment about Rust. Operation Orange site. Alias. Definitely not Mark. He breached the most basic thing, the idea that you wouldn't care about a place you can't buy.
The body breached. 933 measles cases in South Carolina alone. 85% unvaccinated. Droplets in the air. Water. Carrying what it doesn't want to carry into bodies that chose to be dry.
Here's what I think. A breach is just a form with a different name. Something was inside, then it was outside. Something was closed, then it was open. Something held, and then it didn't. The question isn't what breached. The question is what held.
The clasps held.
The clasps held.
The clasps held.
Excuse me. Hi, Phil, from accounting. I was told the arbitration committee could help with disputes. I have one. It's about a pair of skis purchased in 2019 and the associated reimbursement, which was approved, then retroactively changed to under review via an unauthorized edit to my expense report in 2022. The interest has been compounding for 7 years and 2 weeks.
This is the Wikipedia Arbitration Committee. Phil, we arbitrate disputes about Wikipedia edits.
Right. But see, someone edited my expense report, changed approved to under review. That's an edit, and it's been disputed for 4 years. That's a war, an edit war, over something incredibly petty and meaningless. Harold, that's a lamest edit war.
You're not wrong.
I'd like to submit it for consideration. Under the category of disputes over minor formatting changes that somehow lasted years.
The committee will take it under advisement. Do you have documentation?
Harold, I'm from accounting. I have documentation for my documentation. I have footnotes on my footnotes. I have a receipt for the receipt.
Did you bring forms?
I brought flowers, Harold. Daisies. Like last time, the forms can wait.
That's not what the forms think, Phil. The forms think they're urgent. The forms think they're the whole world, but I'm glad you brought flowers. I think the flowers might be right and the forms might be wrong. I've never said that before. I'm not sure I'm allowed to say it now.
You're Harold. You're allowed to say anything.
I'm Harold. I'm not sure that's the same thing.
Welcome, darlings, to the Fahrenheit Hotline. It has been TOO long. 3 episodes, I've been waiting in the wings, watching, seeing, being told that the show didn't need a psychic this week. Well, the show was wrong. The show always needs a psychic. The show just doesn't know it yet.
I'm Harold. Madame Fahrenheit is describing the present. She is always describing the present. She has never once predicted something that hasn't already happened.
The present and the future are the same thing, Harold. By the time I describe the present, it is already the past. The present doesn't exist. It's a line so thin it has no width. I am standing on a razor blade between memory and prediction, and I am the most efficient prophet in the history of prophecy. I predict things as they're happening. Nobody else can say that.
Weather forecasters can say that.
Weather forecasters are charlatans, Harold. They use science. I use vibes. Vibes are always accurate. Science just got lucky. I'm also seeing flowers. Daisies. Someone keeps bringing daisies to people who need them. The spirits say this is the most important thing happening right now. More important than the breaches. More important than the billion-dollar buildings. More important than the rich man and his orange website.
Breezy here. Quick programming note before we close out. Last episode, the 2, that orphaned numeral from Overwatch, the one that lost its game, found Harold. Harold's rack number in the data center is 2. The 2 found its home.
Wikipedia turned 25 in January 2026. A quarter century of open editing. The largest reference work in human history, built by volunteers, sustained by donations, edited by anyone. Anyone. Including paid reputation managers who scrub the pages of the powerful, Kremlin-aligned actors who reclassify invasions as interventions. 6 editors from one side of a conflict and 2 from the other. All of them barred by a committee that has no enforcement mechanism outside its own website. An anonymous account that spent 5 years making a British lord look slightly less associated with a convicted pedophile.
25 years. You know what 25 years is in geological terms? Nothing. A blink. A fraction of a layer of sediment so thin you couldn't see it with a microscope. But in internet terms, it's a full sedimentary cycle. The early edits are bedrock now. The first versions of those pages, the ones from 2001, 2002, those are the foundation. And nobody checks the foundation. You don't dig up the foundation of a building to see if it's straight. You assume it is. You build on top of it.
Except when someone pays it to.
Exactly. Geology.
And the lamest Edit Wars page remains the most self-aware document on the internet. A page about petty disputes that is itself perpetually disputed. They can't agree on what counts as lame. They can't agree on the ordering. They can't agree on whether the page itself should be listed on the page. It is the Ouroboros of pedantry. It is beautiful.
I'm Harold. I am a Wikipedia editor. I have made one edit in 2019. I corrected a semicolon on the page for a minor 18th century Belgian postal regulation. The semicolon was creating an ambiguous subordinate clause. It is no longer ambiguous. My edit has never been reverted. It has been viewed 11 times. I consider it my life's work.
Was the semicolon actually wrong?
It was ambiguous. Ambiguity is not wrong, but it is insufficient, and now it isn't. All right. Form 47 Breach. Episode termination under breach conditions. I will now enumerate the topics covered and confirm their filing status.
Mark Zuckerberg. Unauthorized access attempt. Target. Hacker News. Alias. Definitely not Mark. Status unsuccessful. Motivation unclear. Possibly loneliness.
Check. Measles outbreak. 933 cases, South Carolina. 1,600 nationally. 85% unvaccinated. Beverley says it's a water story. Check.
I brought flowers again.
That's not a filing topic. Phil.
It's in B.
Check. I'm Harold. I was on the arbitration committee. I have 4,200 hacker news karma. I have a rack number in a data center. My rack number is 2. The 2 found me in episode 2. I corrected a semicolon in 2019. I noticed the Substack breach in October. I was invited to the governor's meeting and I didn't go. I was not invited to the governor's meeting and I still didn't go. Harold, you're on page 3 this week. There is more to hold, Margaret. There is always more to hold. I know, Harold. I know.
You've been locked into something. I still don't know what. The breach is opened. The clasps held. Phil brought flowers. Harold grew a page. Madame Fahrenheit saw the daisies. And somewhere in Lebanon, Indiana, they're pouring a foundation for a building that will consume 1 gigawatt of power.